All right. Hello, listener, and welcome back to another episode of We Read It One Night, the podcast where we talk about the books that make you want to stay up all night reading and other things, because these are romance novels. I am your host, Allison, and I am so excited to be joined today by a very special guest, CM Nascosta.
Hi, I'm so very glad to be here. I was extremely excited when we received this invitation over on Threads, so thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it was like kismet. Like I DM'd you and you were like, I never look at DMs, but like I just happened to like check just now.
Right. Like my emails and my DMs are like God's lost half acre. And like I have that kind of ADHD where like I cannot abide a notification on my phone screen. Like that shit's getting swiped away immediately. But the actual number of unread messages, like once it crosses into double digits, it no longer exists. Like, well, now that's too big of a number to ever fathom, so I don't ever have to worry about it again.
Like that actually doesn't exist. Those what messages?
Like,
I don't. They don't exist. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, and I mean, I bet you get like you're getting messages all the time, just like people like tagging you and things and being like, "I love your book" or "I hate your book." You know, there are people.
It's never ending, so it's just easier to simply never look at it ever.
Yeah, understandable. Very much get that. It's like a blessing and a curse, like a good problem to have, but also, you know.
Yeah, like I literally think I happen to be on my DMs at that precise moment looking for a specific message from another author when you messaged. Yeah. And that was quite literally the only reason this ever happened.
Yeah. God was like, you know what? This needs to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Well, God also, when she introduced me to your books, said that Allison, you need to develop a Mothman obsession. Because I just want to say that you are responsible. I would like to officially credit you with introducing me to like Mothman romance and me like opening me up to like the wonders of like the like
Strange
extra long
anatomy.
skinny tongue. Yeah, you know, like weird insect shit that
I love this for you.
Yeah.
This dovetails very well with a conversation I was quite literally having just before we jumped onto this call with my good friend, author Elsie Winters. I don't even know how this started. Oh, we were talking about her kids. Her kids want to, like, her kids are both readers, which is amazing. And they know that she writes, but like, super bad combination when you don't want your kids like reading your books. Fortunately, we're like a little young in my household for that, but her kids are a bit older.
The day is coming for you, though.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's for sure. Yeah, the day of reckoning is on the horizon. I already know that. But fortunately, I'm not there yet. She is. So yeah, it started out as a conversation about her kids, trying to read her books and, what sex ed looks like in this day and age when we don't have comprehensive sex ed in schools anymore. Our kids are just, they've got TikTok and a prayer, and that's about it. So I don't even know how it started that I'm like, don't, and she's like, oh, an octopus. It just like, throws its like mating tentacle and scuttles away. I'm like, isn't there a kind of a spider that does that? Like it's mating, it leaves the pedipalps behind and it just makes for the hills before it gets eaten. and we're the kind of like ADHD autistic friendship where like I have all the sass and she has all like the brains. So she's right there with all of her animal facts. And she's like, no, it just hands over the breeding package. I wish you would have done that with Anzan. I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity for you to write an anatomically correct spider character. And I have essentially triple dog dared her to do this. And like, the world needs this. There is a market for anatomically correct insects. So I'm thrilled to hear that the door has been opened for moth genitalia for you, because it's a slippery slope down.
And it, in a literal and figurative sense. Like it's a slippery slope.
I love it.
Okay, so you introduced me to Mothman romance, but also were one of the first like really like monster romances that I like, true monster romances,
Right.
that I started to read. And I feel like in general, especially for this like new crop of romance readers that started up during the pandemic, like you with Morning Glory Milking Farm, which listener, if you we have an episode on that on the podcast. If you want to listen to it yesterday, and it was, in my opinion, just as funny as it was the first time. Um, but yeah, you were with Morning Glory Milking Farm. Everyone was like, "Hey, we need to talk about this Minotaur milking book," and I it just like exploded.
Yeah, it's very weird to me because like it's 2025. It's almost the end of 2025. Like we are on the precipice of a new year. And Morning Glory came out like way back in the in the rosy dawn hours of 2021, like at towards the
Hmm.
end of the summer. And it is still going viral on TikTok like
Yeah.
every couple of months. And it's so weird because I'll get excited. I'm like, someone is reading my brand new book. And no, they're not.
No.
It's like a brand new crop of readers that are just discovering monster romance. Like it's a brand new thing. And that's so
Yeah.
amazing to me. And that's like, we talk a lot, especially on social media and like especially on threads. Like I feel like on
Yeah.
threads, like the author community is more supportive and more open with each other than it tends to be on other platforms. But we always see posts from newer authors who are like, I'm feeling defeated because my first, one or two books haven't popped off. And like and I understand that feeling of like everyone
Right.
else in the world and in my very tiny little microcosm of the world feels like, they're blowing up everywhere and
Yeah.
my books aren't. But books have such a long shelf life. Like they're only new once, but then they get to be new over and over again for people who are just discovering them. And it is
Hmm.
such a mind fuck seeing people rediscover discover for the first time Morning Glory for the very first time. And like they're reading it like it's a brand new book. And it's so wild to me to be on the side of it. There's a TikToker, he's that Australian guy, Handsome Shrek. Um,
Mm.
Luke something or other. His name is escaping me at the moment.
I'll find his,
But
I'll link it in the
yeah,
description,
he
listener.
he read Morning Glory, and then like a couple weeks later, he read A Blue Ribbon Romance. And like he does
Uh-huh.
these videos, like, and he's like this big, muscly guy. He's in his
He's handsome
tractor.
Shrek,
He's handsome
Yeah.
Shrek. Yeah, no, he's literally handsome Shrek. He's in his tractor and he's like, male romance is back in a big way. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like the best endorse. I couldn't have paid for that. Like the best endorsement. And I'm just hearing like every time someone buys that book, all I'm hearing is like male yearning is back in a big way. And I'm like, this is perfection. This is the kind of shit you can't even pay for.
No, I mean, and I'm having like an image of like Steve Irwin being like, "Crikey, it's
Literally,
a
no,
minotaur."
literally, that is literally what it's like. He's like, this book changed my life in the best way. I'm like, he's sitting in his tractor, he's got the book. I'm like, oh my God, like this is real life. This book is 4 years old, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild.
Every author has that one book, like the one book that
Yeah.
everybody like starts at, right?
Right,
This is your
right.
contribution to
Yeah,
romance
the canon,
literature.
the literary canon.
Literary canon.
24 ounces is my contribution to the literary canon. But like it came out at just the right time,
Right.
because I've said this before in interviews and podcasts, like I
Uh-huh.
fully attribute the mainstream rise of monster romance to the pandemic because
Hmm.
we were all stuck at home with our own thoughts for a long time and we got real okay with a lot of weird shit real fast.
Right. It's a lot easier to
Right.
be weird when you don't have to, when you're just like being weird over the internet and you don't have to like
Yeah.
interact with people.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like my book popping off just like a month or two after IPB like went crazy
Right,
on
right,
TikTok. And I mean, that series was already like 32 books deep and people were just
right.
discovering it that year like it was something brand new. So it's it's amazing to me, the way readers discover and rediscover things in cycles. And if
Yeah.
you're an author listening out there and you're wondering why haven't my books popped off yet, like, just remember,
It
like,
takes
books have a
one
very long
guy.
shelf life. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was like that what was it? How to Lose the Time War. Like one
Right.
person like tweeted about it or whatever, and then
Yes.
suddenly it's on the New York Times bestseller list.
Like,
Like
is
it
it
just
Nicholas Bigelow?
right, right. Like big dick, like with the
Right.
most ridiculous name. And you're like,
Right.
you know what? That's the kind of name that should be promoting my monster Robin. Like you should read that next.
100%. 100%. And that's all it takes. And that's like, something else I feel like we talk about a lot, like in bookish spheres, is, why do you only care about the big readers and why do you only care about big accounts? Like, most of us don't. Like, a reader is a
Right.
reader. I have no idea what your account looks like, what your following looks like.
Yeah.
Like, a reader is a reader, and the tiniest reader making an effusive, excited video, like
Right.
Dickolas Bigelows or whatever that person's
Whatever.
name was, can rocket a book up to the top of the New York Times list.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, it just takes one
Right.
person. But publishers don't. Publishers are like, oh, you have a
No.
bigger following. We'll give
Yeah,
this is
no,
when you'll give me the free.
yeah, absolutely.
The more podcast episodes I put out, the more publicists reach out to me. And I'm like, well, I was just as enthusiastic 4 years
Right.
ago.
No, now they're backing the truck in, dumping the arcs off in your driveway.
Right. I'm like, my NetGalley like review return
Yeah.
percentage is like down the drain because like I have all these just like overwhelmed. So when I was re-listening to the episode that we did that I did with my friend, and I did it with my friend who is not a romance reader, who had never read monster romance.
Oh,
Like she was just
that's the
like, this
best.
was incredible. And she requested this book. Like when I told, yeah, I was like, yeah, there's a Minotaur like milking book. And she was like, I would like to do that. Like when you have me on your podcast, that is the book that I would like. Like I'm claiming it now. But when I was re-listening to the episode, I was like, one thing that I need to ask CM Nascosta is how you came up with the idea for a book about jacking minotaurs off for science and profit. That's
Right.
also like, but like also like this incredibly sweet love story.
So, I have said this before, but like most of my books, probably more than 50% of my books, start off as a shitpost, like between friends. Like this conversation I had today with Elsie about like an anatomically correct spider,
Right.
that will absolutely turn into a book, but from one of us eventually, because that's how all of my books start. Like, wouldn't it be funny if, and she's jerking off minotaurs and that's her job. Oh my God, so crazy. The story actually started out as a short on my Tumblr blog back in 2020. I had COVID, and I had COVID for a really, really long time.
Oh.
And so I'm like, I'm going to start, like, I'm sick, I'm at home, I can't do anything. I'm going to start a little series of shorts called Quarantine Porn. And that was one of them. It started off as a 12,000 word short story.
Yeah.
It was just like the framework. So Girls Weekend is actually my first book. Like everyone thinks that Morning Glory is like my debut, and it's not. Like there was a podcast that reviewed Sweet Berries like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they called it like my sophomore effort. And I'm thinking like, this isn't even my second, this is my second book this year. Like this isn't even like,
you're like, it's not even my second one.
Right. I'm like, this is like sophomore. Like I've graduated at this point.
You're like, this is the thesis. Like
literally, like I'm like, by the time Sweet Berries had released, I'm like, I'm 4 books deep already. But if you want to call it my sophomore effort, that's fine.
Sure. According to TikTok, it is. Yeah.
So when I wrote my first book, I released Girls Weekend, and Girls Weekend also started actually as like a framed out piece on my Tumblr blog. But after I released Girls Weekend, I had a family emergency. My brother was in the hospital for like a long time. He was on life support for most of the summer that year.
I'm so sorry.
So yeah, well, I mean, it turned into, I'm like, I need to write something. Like I had planned on the second book of the Girls Weekend series being my second book. Like I'm writing this series. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I just that's an emotionally heavier series with a lot of intricate moving parts, and I just
Mm-hmm.
did not have the brain space for all of that plotting. So at that point, I'm like, I need to release something for my patrons. So let
Right.
me put this little story was always popular on Tumblr. Let me frame this
Yeah.
out into a larger story. I literally wrote the whole book like in hospital waiting rooms and in the mornings at a Christian coffee
Wow.
shop.
Oh,
the a Christian coffee shop, like
perfect.
their Wi-Fi password was like, a Bible verse number,
Oh
like
my
Romans
God. Like John
or
360.
something.
Yeah, whatever.
Not even and then when I hit the USA Today list, the owner was like, they knew I was a writer. They didn't really know what I wrote, but they knew I was a writer, and they followed me on social media. Like whoever, like the little college student that ran their social media, she knew what I did. um, and when I hit the USA Today for the first time, the owner, I walked in that morning, and the owner's like, "Congratulations!" And like every head in this little tiny, country village coffee shop turns to me, and I'm like, "Thanks."
Thank you. Have you read the book?
But like I never intended that book to be written at the time it was written. Like it was
Yeah.
never in my author roadmap.
Yeah.
And then when I released it, I fully expected it to be read by like my 75 patrons and
Yeah.
like the handful of followers I had from Girls Weekend on Instagram.
Hmm.
And that was it. Like I did not think that that book was going to be read by anyone but my existing small audience. And that's who it was written for. That's who it was
Yeah.
released for. And yeah, it was not written for the audience it eventually reached. And like
Fair
the way it
enough.
happened, like the book came out like on like a Monday or Tuesday or whatever. And a couple days later, like the book released, I want to say on the 3rd or the 4th, and Ruby Dixon talked about it on her blog on the 7th. So
Mm.
literally just a few days. I'm in the kitchen, I'm washing bottles, like and my phone starts buzzing on the countertop, and it didn't stop buzzing for hours. And I never even got to my phone like to see what was
Yeah.
happening until like that evening. So like it had already cascaded outside of my control by
Yeah.
the very first day. Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah. I mean, all it takes, yeah. I feel like if Ruby Dixon is like, hey, here's this freaky little book,
Right. Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I can take your word for it. Okay.
I will forever be grateful to her for platforming me and platforming the book the way that she did, because this all started because of her.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days after she talked about it on Facebook, Sarah McLean talked about it on Twitter, and like that
Yeah.
was the end. And then it cascaded into TikTok from there. TikTok likes to take credit for everything, but they were actually last.
Right. Right. Right.
But yeah, I will be forever grateful to those two authors particularly, because I probably would not be sitting here chatting with you if they had not platformed the book the way they had.
The book about
The book
minotaurs
about
getting
Minotaur
jocked
job ripped
off.
off.
So you didn't
Right.
like go to a you so in terms of like conceptualizing the idea, you hadn't like gone to a farm recently and you were like, a
Well,
book idea.
actually,
You were like, oh.
so I had recently moved out to Amish country, which is where I live now. Yeah, and like if we're on the phone long enough, you'll hear like the clip clop of my neighbors coming home,
Oh my
like in about an
God.
hour.
I love that.
Yeah, so I actually like it was like one of those like by hook or by crook, you're gonna learn about animal husbandry living out here. So a lot of the bullish stuff is
Yeah.
actually like pretty well researched.
No, I remember like I was reading, I was like, is this actually what? And I was like, yeah, yeah, this
Yeah,
is how they do it for
that's how they
like
do it.
breeding.
That is how they do it. Like the poor NSH agent that's like assigned to my like search history has just they have learned so much in the course of 4 years.
They've either taken early retirement or they're like
Right.
eagerly waiting like
Or they're
every day,
into
like
it.
what
Yes.
is she
Yeah.
gonna
Or they're like,
search
what are we
today?
learning about now? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, so the Amish, we can't hold the Amish. You know what? That feels like full circle because like Amish romance is such like a the little engine that could. I feel like in terms of like a subgenre.
Like it's wild. Like if you live out here, like the first time I went to like my little village library, I was shocked because 90% of the library is Amish romance. Like it's like cozy mystery, Amish
And
romance, and a
Amish
kids section, and
romance.
that's it. Like there's barely anything else. And I remember my mom asked me, she's like, "Do you think your books will be carried in the library?" I'm like, "No, no, they won't be.
Are they not? Are they still not?
They're gonna let that dream go." Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're not.
Yeah, I was imagining, I was like, so they have Amish romance, they have the kids section, they have cozy mystery, and then they have just a display of like local
Right.
author.
Yeah, right, right.
One can hope one day. To all the libraries outside Cleveland, you know what to do.
Yeah,
Know what to
absolutely. That's right. That's
make a
right. The very
little
first time I was spotted in the wild was actually by a librarian in Cleveland.
perfect.
We were right. We were downtown. We were like in the theater district. We were like walking to like a Mexican restaurant for lunch, and it was my brother-in-law. He's like, "I think you were just spotted." I'm like, "You're crazy." And I turn. I'm like, "Oh shit, no, I was definitely just spotted." Like this cluster of people, and they're pointing. And we walked a
They're
little further, and I saw that it was literally they were pointing. They were pointing. I'm like, "Okay, I'm holding a child's hand. They're not going to approach me while I'm holding a child's hand." And
oh,
we walked a little
yeah.
bit, and I saw that it was the Cleveland Library's table at the
Amazing.
square. So like I was spotted by a librarian in the wild.
I feel like librarians are like secretly the freakiest of us
Oh, for
all. Like
sure.
just with like the people online that I follow that like I know are librarians, like be in her books,
Yeah.
wild. Like,
Yeah,
and
for
I know
sure.
she's a librarian. Like they got they got their fingers in a lot of
Yeah,
pies.
absolutely.
Who knows what they get up to dark after dark. So, what draws you? Because I know you also have in your bio that obviously you write mostly monster romance. Like, what draws you to monster romance?
I have always been a monster girly, like always, always, always. Like my first movie crush was like Swamp Thing, like 1984.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's the primordial like
Yeah. Yeah,
monster romance?
like yeah, I mean, I feel like for most of us who are monster readers, monster authors, if you're in the monster sphere, you probably don't need to dig like real far to see where that started. A lot of my readers, like you can pinpoint the exact moment that they put on gargoyles after school for the first time, and like that was it, they were done.
Or like they saw Beauty and the Beast, and then when he turns into
Right.
human, they're like,
Right,
oh,
right. And
so
like, and
many
that's
of
the thing,
us.
like when we talk about monster romance in the context of like what's popular today, like we almost treat it like it's something new, but we've been telling these stories for as long as stories have been
Mhm.
told.
Right, the Minotaur, like, what do you
Right.
like?
Like quite
One of our
literally.
oldest stories.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So like we've always loved monsters. We've always had a fascination with the other.
Yeah,
Some of us just latch onto it a little tighter.
a little harder. So do you think it's just like the influence of the pandemic that is the reason that it's like blew
Forced us
up a
all out of
little
the
bit?
closet.
Right.
Yeah, I genuinely do. I just think like the time was absolutely primed for
Hmm.
people to be willing to stretch a little bit into unfamiliar waters as it is. And like I said, we were all stuck at home with nothing but
Right.
our thoughts and the online friends that we made for a long
Yeah.
time. So once the world started reopening again, why do we have to let go of all these things we discovered that we kind of
Right.
like?
Right.
Yeah. But I genuinely,
Yeah.
I don't think that monster romance would have blown up the way that it has if the pandemic hadn't happened. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
terrible, terrible time for
Yes.
our culture, and a blight on the history of humanity. And I will forever be endlessly
Yeah.
sympathetic to everyone who was negatively impacted or who lost loved ones. But I'm like, well, God
Right.
damn, it was real good for me.
Silver lining. You gotta
like
find
as an
them, right?
like it's an introvert who never wants to leave their house anyway. I'm like, I was living.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like Vietnam War,
Yeah,
horrible part of United States
horrible.
history, but damn, did we get some great music out of that.
Right, right. Yeah,
Like,
no,
you know?
absolutely. Like, and it's just I think like that's one of our traits as a civilization, you know, as
Yeah.
people, like we manage to produce something beautiful in the face of tragedy all the time. And I think this is obviously a very shallow
Right.
version of that, but it's a version of it
Right.
nonetheless.
But it's almost like I feel like Monster Romance is also almost like a extension of that in terms of humanity creating beauty out of the, ugly, out of the traditionally looked
Yeah,
down upon, you know what I mean? Like
right,
Monster
right.
Romance is like, no, this beautiful love story can happen.
Right. And like especially when you consider I think personally like the age of a lot of the majority of monster romance authors, like
Hmm.
most of us lived through that whole like early 2000s era of
Oh,
like you can't be skinny enough.
right. Like the genes are so low that
Right, right. The
your
whole world
pelvis
is your
is falling out.
gynecologist. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
So we've lived through that, very just devastatingly high social expectations for how you look and how you act.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's surprising that so many people have turned to like I'm finding beauty in the other. I'm finding,
Hmm.
monster romance, it really encapsulates, body positivity and
Hmm.
um accepting of all genders, accepting of every walk of life. You
Hmm.
find everything within the genre. And I don't know if a lot of genres can boast that.
Right.
Um, but monster
Right.
romance is definitely built on those
Yeah.
building blocks of acceptance for all.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to me in terms of its juxtaposition to dark romance, especially because dark romance also saw a boom. Because, like, on the surface, I think someone looking at them would be like, oh, they're pretty similar. You know what I mean? It's monsters, and then it's like
Right.
mafiosos and serial killers and stalkers or whatever. But, like, when you actually, I don't know, at least in my experience, like reading, I'm sure there's dark monster romance, but, like, in my experience, reading monster romance, especially like the popular ones, like, monster romances are always like so like sweet, and I mean sweet not in the sweet versus spicy, but like sweet, just like cozy. Like so often there's
Cozy.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah, cozy, like there's just like
Yeah.
this like kindness and this warmth to them that stands in like such sharp juxtaposition with with dark romance also like growing up at the same time,
Right.
you know.
And I mean, and if you consider like dark romance got real fucking dark around that time,
Right.
your
Right.
trigger warnings are like an appendix at the front. And I don't and you didn't see that really hitting mainstream
Hmm.
until those post-pandemic years.
Right.
And again, it's not new. Like dark romance isn't new, monster romance isn't new, but we really
Right.
hit our respective strides in that aftermath. And I don't
Yeah.
know, I don't know if I don't know if that could be recreated today. Like I always say, like I feel so badly for brand new authors coming up, like right now, right at this moment, starting
Hmm.
because so much has changed. So much has changed in just the
Right.
last, 2 or 3 years, not
Mhm.
even getting into like 5, 6 years, 10 years. Like the
Right.
industry has changed so dramatically.
Yeah.
It was still possible back 5 years ago to really find your groove on social media and like 3 years ago for authors to blow up on TikTok in a way that they could never do without that platform. And I don't know, with all of the algorithmic changes and all of the weird new censorship that we're dealing with, I don't know if that can be replicated again.
Right. Especially the weird stuff and like the marginalized stuff,
Right.
like
Right.
I mean, we don't have to spend too much out of it. Like the Goodreads Choice Awards romance category this year was like
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
straight and all and mostly white, and I don't think had any monster romance on it, or just like it was like mostly like contemporary
Right.
romance, and that's it. Maybe, I guess, yeah, yeah. The algorithm is definitely like favoring a sort of narrow,
Very narrow, very cis, very white. Yeah, lots of pretty privilege.
right?
And just beyond that, like we're everything is just so corporately controlled. I mean,
Hmm.
we've always been corporately controlled, but now
Right.
it's just so overt. Like I'm hearing so many small creators and like small like artists and art shops and crafters talk about
Hmm.
how Instagram used to be their main bread and butter and where they found their
Hmm.
audience and where they made most of their sales, and now they can't even get
Yeah.
views. So it's just
Yeah.
we're living in such
Exactly.
a weird bubble of terribleness right now.
Yeah.
And I feel so badly for authors who are just trying to
Yeah.
to to hack it right now because it's just such a hard timeline that we're in.
Yeah. It does make me like you bringing up the social media. I feel like we can't talk about the way that social media is changing without like talking about AI. And I feel like especially with monster
Right.
romance, like because it's not as easy to like I guess make a monster romance cover because you have to have more Photoshop skills like at the very
Right,
least if you're
right.
using you can't just like plop a stock photo on there,
Sure.
so I mean I would assume that you are not.
I am incredibly anti-AI.
Yes. Yeah.
I want nothing to do with
Yeah.
it. Actually, a company that I do business with that I'm really happy with. Like I've loved working with them for the past year that I've worked with them. They put out an email this morning talking about like AI stuff that they're doing, and like they made it clear that it's all opt-in, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. But then
Yeah.
part of me is like, well, why are you doing it at all? Like
Right.
if authors are your clients and this is what is stealing our work, like
Right.
why are you in bed with this at all? Like it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I like on one hand, I want to say like, oh, I feel bad for even thinking this, but then I don't. Like, I don't feel bad. Like,
Right.
if you're an author and you're using AI book covers, like I think less of you,
Yeah.
and I need you to know that and be okay with the fact that I think less of you because I'm not
Yeah.
changing my mind on that. Like, if you're using AI covers, if you're using AI ads, like it's a slippery slope if you're using AI translations. And I see all the time people talking about, well, the cost of covers and the cost of art and the cost of translations and the cost of audiobooks and oh, it's all so expensive. And yes, it absolutely is. But
Hmm.
just like we want to be paid for our books, our
Hmm.
brothers and sisters in arms across the industry deserve to be paid for their work as well.
Right.
And you are
Right.
devaluing their work when you use,
Right.
the Amazon AI audiobook option that they are so desperate to push on
Oh my
us
God,
because
they
I swear to
wanted,
God, I can't
yeah.
log into my dashboard without it being like, congratulations, you've been approved for this piece of shit that you don't want to use in the first place. Like, well, that's great. I'm never going to use it.
Thank you. Close.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean when I see an author do it, I just kind of I'm like I'm assuming that you're also using AI to write the books, even if it's
Exactly.
not. Like
100%. If
I'm
you are
just
using if you are using AI for your cover, I am assuming that you are using Chat GPT for your book. If you are using
right.
AI ads, I am assuming that you are okay
Yeah.
with just it's you can't that's like one baby you can't separate from the
Right.
bathwater. Like if you're using one element, I am
Right.
just going to assume that you are using it for everything.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I feel like especially like I'm sure that like you as a monster romance author, like I feel like that's that and like probably romantasy and like the more
Yeah.
the fantasy, the fantastical elements books that have them, like I'm sure
It's
you just get like
infuriating.
flooded like
It's infuriating. Yeah. And like
yeah.
whenever I see AI art that someone has made of one of my characters, I just don't acknowledge it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
beat that person up. I'm not going to go out of my way to use my platform that's very large
Yeah.
to go after someone who's very small because I feel like and I know not every author agrees with me, but we have to consider our platform. We have to
Hmm.
consider our following. We have to consider the unhinged nature of some of our readers because if
Right.
I say this person, did XYZ, just because that ends with my thought doesn't mean it ends because now I've tacitly given approval for everyone
Right.
who follows me to go after that person, and
Right.
I'm not going to contribute to that. But like I'm not going to acknowledge it. If you make an AI edit, I'm simply not going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to thank you. I'm just going to pretend it didn't exist. And if I feel like if I don't draw attention to it, it can, you know, fade into the ether. All
Yeah.
on its own, all on its own. But yeah, it's infuriating. Like it's infuriating knowing how many monster romance books are currently sitting on Amazon with hundreds and hundreds of reviews that have AI covers, like blatant
Yeah.
AI covers. Yeah.
Right. The number I'll see books like someone will make a reel about their but promoting the book. I'll be like, oh, that sounds like really interesting. And then I'll like go and look at the book and I'm like, never
Yeah.
mind.
Right.
And sometimes I'll
Right.
give them if I'm really excited the book, sometimes I'll like, okay, like maybe it just like has the AI vibes, but I'll go on the author's page, see if they credit the artist. Like,
No, they never do.
no, no.
Never. Yeah, and there's a handful of authors who are like super loud, like loud and proud about it. And I guess if you're
Hmm.
gonna use it, that's the way to do it. I mean, don't it's I
Right.
guess I think it's worse to hide it.
Don't,
But
yeah, right. Like at least like if you're gonna be scummy, at least be openly
yeah, let
scummy.
everyone know, right? Let us make our
Yeah.
decisions on the face of what you're doing and not, you know, what you're pretending that you're not. But it's weird to me the way AI has become like for some people it's become like their entire personalities. And
Yeah.
like and I don't just mean like the tech bros who have like fully bought into it. I mean like the people who just use it for bookish art. Like you can't have conversations with them without them bringing it up. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's very culty behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I'm like, listen, why can't AI could be great if it was like just for the things that no one wants to do. If it were just for the annoying, like administrative, like calc, if it were
Right.
just like a really complicated Excel sheet, you know what I mean? Like a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
complicated
Data
pre-programmed
analyzation. Yes, yeah.
Excel
The
sheet. That
automation
would
of
be
analyzation.
phenomenal.
Yeah, there's so many applications that could make our lives better that don't involve, you know, putting a panda on a surfboard.
Oh my God. AI is the real monster and not in the sexy way.
Truly, absolutely,
Unfortunately.
truly, 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 100%. That Minotaur businessman isn't hurting the environment.
No. In fact, he's helping. You know what I mean? It goes to
In fact,
Viagra, essentially. And
absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. So you went, so you, I mean, you've already talked about how you initially self-published these and now they've been picked up by, at least some of your books have been picked up by traditional publishing.
No, that is incorrect,
No. Am
actually.
I
I
I could have
am
swore I think it's just maybe the new cover. I was just like,
maybe.
oh, it was like I saw it around the same time that like a bunch of other authors were getting picked up, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess like like that, good for her. Like,
Yeah.
congratulations.
See, that's the thing. Like, I mean, thank you for
The cover's incredible.
yeah, thank you. It like yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We're like trad pub is so weird.
Hmm.
I love being indie. I'm not telling anyone, like I'm not saying to any of my readers that I don't have stuff coming out trad. Like I'm never gonna
Right.
pretend that like I'll never go trad because that's not true.
Right.
But no, at this point I am still completely indie. My
Okay.
audiobooks are trad. But
Right.
my all of my books are I love being indie.
Hmm.
It would take a whole lot
A big
to
fat
get me to
check.
go trad at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
I think the
yeah,
audiobook might be where I got it
maybe.
mixed up because that's how
Yeah.
I listen. I like read most of my books through audio. So I was like,
Okay.
usually if there's an audio, like it's a lot of times indie doesn't have an audio version. So like a lot of
Right.
times, but I
Right,
like,
right.
especially at my local library, at my,
Yeah. And I will say like Tantor, I'm with Tantor. They treat me like a princess. Like
yeah.
I can't speak to anyone else's experiences with Tantor Audio or Podium or any of the other companies. I can only speak to mine, and I know without question that I get princess treatment from Tantor. They give me a very long leash. They tolerate my particular brand of bullshit very well, and they're very good to my books. They promote my books everywhere. 2 years ago, someone told me they were looking up a book on like it was like a not like nonfiction, like they're like a woodworking book
Yeah.
or something, and they were being shown ads for Morning Glory, the audiobook for Morning Glory. I'm like, they are really
You're like
they
not
told me they were going to put a lot of marketing behind it, and they did not lie.
a different kind of wood.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I am still fully indie at this point. I feel like I'm a weird holdout, like especially like in my little like circle of authors, because so many folks
Mhm.
have either sold their existing rights to trad or are taking other projects trad. I've
Mhm.
been very resistant.
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, but I love being indie. I love like for this year, for example, I was sick over the holidays last year. I had a virus and it turned into pneumonia, and I was sick for a
Oh
really
no.
really long time, and it has taken me so much longer to recover from that,
Right.
even when I had COVID. Like I
Yeah.
had COVID for a long time, but then when I bounced back, and I wrote like 40 books. um, this has really like recovering from that really kicked my ass. So between like my brain just not being as fast as it was before that particular illness, and like all the travel that I've done in the past 2 years, like it's caught up with me this year. And this was
Okay.
like the girls last year before, like of just preschool, like before they started like big girl school. They started kindergarten in September.
That's so
So like I
exciting.
made the decision months ago. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take most of this year off. Like
Yeah.
I released He Loves Me Not back in January. And then I started like my signing tour in the spring. And I only came off tour for like a month and a half this summer. And
Oh
then
wow.
I was back on the road by mid-September. I was only home for like 6 days in the month of
Oh
October.
geez.
So like I really made a conscious decision that I'm like, you know what, I'm not actually gonna write shit this year. Like I'm gonna
Fair
be
enough.
traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take care
I'm
of
going right.
yourself.
I'm going to book signings, and in between book signings, we're gonna go to Disney as much as we can, and we're gonna go to the movies, and
Oh.
we're gonna go to the park, and we're just gonna do fun things while we can do them.
Yeah.
Because little kids are only little kids for a very short amount of
Right.
time, and books will always be there. So,
Right.
but
Right.
I couldn't have made that decision if I was working on someone else's timeline.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I value being my own boss like more than I can probably articulate.
Yeah. No, that sounds phenomenal. Yeah. And I would imagine, I don't know if you've heard from like some of your friends who have gone trad, like that it's a little stifling.
It's a
Like I
mixed
don't know if
bag.
you've heard
Yeah.
that because, obviously, I mean, on one hand, Trad Pub is picking up these monster romances, and obviously they want authors to write more, presumably like that, because that's what sells. But then on the other hand, Trad Pub is like 10 years behind the times on,
Right.
you know
Yeah,
what I
right.
mean? Like indie is the innovators.
Indie is always at the front end of innovation, and it takes trad forever to catch up with it. And like
Right.
I personally think that monster romance, like the bubble is sinking. Like
Mm,
we were a niche that like rose real fast, and now, especially within indie, the market exploded, and there are so many books, and that's awesome
mhm.
because like this is like one of those like no one is ever going to say, oh no, there's too much cake at the party.
Yeah. Oh no, my lobster's too buttery and my steak is too juicy. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But because there's just so many books being published, like the
Yeah.
bubble is starting to come down.
Right.
But Brad thinks it's brand new. So, and yeah, traditional publishing is a mixed bag.
Mhm.
I am very fortunate that I have a business background. I have a corporate background. So I know how to run a business. I know I'm a business person first. People get mad at me when I say that sometimes because I think we kind of place this romantic, but you're an artist and you should
Yeah.
create art for art's sake. I create art because I enjoy it, but also because I like having a roof over my head.
Yeah. You're like, I can't eat my books. Like, I'm so sorry to tell you.
That's exactly it. So we all deserve to be paid for our work, and that's why AI is so frustrating. So I'm in a very unique position where I know how to run a business. I worked in corporate product launch, I worked in corporate marketing. So the business end of this for me is like, that's a piece of cake. That's not a hardship for me. And I know for a lot of indie authors, running that business piece of it is a pain point because they don't have
Right.
necessarily a business background. But like, we have a very large multi-funnel direct business.
Yeah.
That was at one point in every room of my house. It's still kind of in every room of my house. I can't even pretend it's not. My house looks like we're losing a game of Jumanji.
Oh no.
But I also have an offsite warehouse that is
Oh
full of books.
wow. Wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah, you're full operation. Like,
we are a full operation. Like, I
wow.
know there are some folks out there who like to take videos in front of stacks of boxes and cry. Whether those boxes are full of books or not, nobody knows. I can do the same thing at my warehouse. They are genuinely full. They are.
Yeah.
And I do want to cry because I only have one employee, and we are the ones who have to unbox all those books and put them away.
And like stuff the envelope.
Yes, exactly. It's a terrible problem to have, to be so busy with so much business.
Right.
I'm so grateful. Like, I would never want to do anything else. Like, people ask, like, oh, what's your dream job? I'm doing it. Like, this is
Right. Yeah.
this is this is nothing that I would give up. So yeah, it would take a lot for me to give up an ounce of my little empire here.
Should make I forget which author did this. I think it's the author of Iron Widow, which is like a kind of romantasy, but she or they, I'm so sorry, I forget their pronouns, but
They,
they made like a throne out of their
yeah.
books. So I maybe you should take inspo.
It's so funny. I used to joke that I had a throne of out of print anthologies. I was in the first three or four editions of the Monsters in Love anthology.
Mm,
Um, and the anthology set was run by the brilliant Evangeline Priest, who's also a wonderful author. But like, she ran those anthologies like with an iron fist. Everything was so wonderfully organized and
yeah.
transparent. And when those books went out of print, like, man, they went out of print. And
Oh,
the second they did, people were clamoring for them. So like, all of us were constantly getting emails. And I bought books like before they went out of print. I
yeah.
bought like 6 cases of each volume to have
Oh,
on my
okay.
shelf to bring to signing events. So like, I used
Yeah.
to joke that, like, I did have a throne of Monsters in Love. Like,
It's a good throw to have.
right.
All right. I'm ready to jump on over to recommending some great monster books. Before we do you have any other general thoughts about monster romance, about indie publishing, about the state
Oh,
of publishing as it is?
yeah. I just think the state of publishing is weird right now. It's a hard market for a lot of people.
Mhm.
So, if you're an author out there and you're feeling beaten down, like, don't, like, this too shall pass. And the most important bit of advice that was given to me early in my career is to remember that this is a marathon. Even though your friends, like, you might feel like you're surrounded by sprinters, like, you just have to
Right.
remember, like, this industry is a marathon, and most people don't make it to their fifth year. So if you are
Right.
just still trucking along, like, just keep trucking along. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, as someone who I used to work in publishing, like I can attest, like when I would see versions of authors' royalty statements, authors that had been with us for a long time, like the books that they were getting paid the most for were like a book they'd written 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Exactly.
and that's what was paying their rent for that
Right.
month. It like wasn't the book that they were putting out right
No,
now.
no. Oh, no, it never is. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, I could never have taken this year, like, mostly off. Like, I've only released one
Yeah.
book this year. And for me, like, I know for some authors, like, well, that's normal.
Only.
Like, it's one book a year. Like, for me, I'm like, first, 2, 3 years of my career, I was releasing 4 or 5 books a
Yeah.
year. And I killed myself to do that, but I killed myself for a reason because backlist is king.
Yeah.
Um, and
Hmm.
everyone wants their most recent book baby to be like a smash hit. And
Hmm.
we all want that. Everyone wants to be successful. We wouldn't
Right.
do this if we didn't want, success in some measure. But backlist is king, baby.
Especially in romance, because like I read a romance that I like, I'm gonna go to that author's website or their like Goodreads
Yeah,
profile, and I'm gonna want to read everything they read. And if they have 20 books, that's great for me, and it's great for them because now I'm
right.
reading 20 books.
No, absolutely. Well, like I said before, like when Ruby Dixon and I like both kind of blew up at TikTok at the same time back in 2021. Ice Planet Barbarians was already like a 32 book
Yeah,
series at that point. I had one other book out and it was unconnected to Morning Glory.
right.
So like everyone wants to go viral, but believe me, you are not prepared to go like if a 3-star review still hurts your feelings, you
I'm
are
not
not ready to go
prepared.
viral, baby
No.
cakes, because the world is really, really mean. Say whatever you want about my books on Goodreads. You can say whatever you want about my books in random comments. I'm never going to see it because
I will not read it.
I could give less of a shit. Like, I don't
Yeah.
read any of that. I like say whatever you want on Goodreads. I will never see it. I don't read my reviews in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form.
It's just like, thank you
Um,
for the engagement and move on. Thank you so much.
Right.
Anyway.
So like that, yeah, like everyone wants to go viral, but you're not always prepared to go viral. But I can tell you firsthand, going viral without a backlist really fucking sucks. Because that
Yeah.
entire original audience that I had, I lost immediately because they had
Right.
nowhere to go. They had no other
Yeah.
books to go to. So I had to rebuild my audience from scratch. um,
Oh, yeah.
so so
That
backlist
stinks.
is king. Every single book you write, like you always want it to be like the best release ever. But the second it is out in the world, just mentally put it into your backlist, column
Right.
and just keep moving forward. Just keep
Right.
trucking.
Right. Yeah, because everything in publishing is about the shiny new thing. But
Yep.
like that's built on the shiny new thing shines on the
Right.
backs of like the
Right.
pile of books.
Yeah, exactly. And that
Yeah.
shiny new thing is only so shiny. And shininess, you can't eat shininess, but what you can eat is someone reading your backlist of 20
Right.
books.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Shall we
Okay.
recommend some monster
So my
romance?
recommendations and my recommendation. So okay. So this is gonna God. This is gonna be so shitty. I don't read monster romance anymore.
Fair.
I kind of put this like in the same category as, and this is like one of those like we have no digital memory. Like we
Hmm.
have like threads is like the same 20 people just shouting at each other in a circle.
Yes.
And every 3 days some new random stranger appears in the center of the circle and it's a recycled topic and all
Yeah.
20 of us stand in a circle and scream at them until
Yeah.
a new stranger pops up with a topic from the week before. There's no
Correct.
digital memory. So every 3 weeks or so we wind up having the conversation about should authors review books. And
Hmm.
no, you shouldn't, because you're an author. If you want, well,
Right.
authors are readers too. Well, no shit, Susan. We're all readers. We wouldn't be in this
Yeah.
industry if we didn't love reading books. But you are an industry professional now. So you
Right.
can no longer give critique in the same way because you are now an industry professional. You are coming at it
Right.
whether you think you are consciously or not. You are reading through the eyes of an author. You will never just be a reader again. So
Hmm.
for me to read monster romance, I will never be just a reader enjoying the genre.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me. I just don't ever want to be in the position where I'm mentally critiquing my peers who I'm probably going to
Right.
be sitting on a stage next to, in
Right.
2 weeks.
Right.
I'm a historical romance girly.
I love it.
And yeah, and I'm like I was always a contemporary reader. Like
Mhm.
historical is like my heart, but
Historical is the OG monsters too. Like some of those men,
best.
you might as well be minotaurs.
So good. So good. Um I'm a big fan of Sarah McLean. I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of Emily Windsor. Her Governess series,
Mm.
like it's catnip. And the books just hit me like it's so satisfying, and it's always like smart FMCs and male main characters that you don't quite hate. Yeah, if you're a historical romance reader out there and you've not read Emily Windsor, I highly recommend.
Okay.
And monster romance, I am going to say Catherine Moon's Game with the Orc, her Monster Smash series. I was late to the table. I've only just recently gotten through the first two books in the series, and they are exquisite. And I love Catherine. Catherine is a friend, but I loved her books way before we were friends.
Hmm.
So if you've not read her Monster Smash series, I cannot recommend that highly enough. It's so good.
Catherine Moon, right? You
Catherine
said.
Moon,
Is she
yes,
this does she do the
Lady of
Rooksgate?
Brooksgrave.
Yes, the Lady of Rooksgave
Yeah,
Manor. Yes.
yeah,
That's that I was like, I know that name sounds familiar. Yeah.
yeah. That's her Tempting Monsters series. Her book came out like Brooksgrave came out the same year as Morning Glory, but
Hmm.
like 4 or 5 months before, 6 months before, something like that. It was earlier in the year. And like I'm like a little nobody. I didn't know anyone when I first started publishing, and I saw her books and I saw her backlist, and she has this huge backlist, and I was like, oh, that's a real author. Like, ooh, she's
Oh,
like that. She's like a big shit. Like that, her
yeah.
book is beautiful. It was blew up everywhere. I'm like, she's a real author, and I will never ever talk to her. And now we're like, she's one of my author
Oh my
besties now.
God, that's amazing.
So yeah, never assume that yeah, that author that you think is like a real girl, like that you won't
They're
someday
just
like
people.
be
Yeah.
in contact. Yes, exactly. We're
Yeah.
all just a bunch of little nobodies. I was
Yeah.
at um I was at the Toledo Library Romance Con 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and Christina Lauren Lowe from Christina Lauren, she
Yes.
made the comment at one point that like, "Who me? I'm just a little nobody." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You're like one half of
You're
Christina Lauren. Like
Christina Lauren.
you've got like 100 books. Like you're a New York Times bestseller. What are you talking about?" But that's how
Yeah.
we all feel. Like
Yeah.
we all feel like, "Well, I'm just a little nobody."
Yeah.
So yeah, so I highly recommend. I'm late to the table, but I am so glad that I was saved a seat. The Monster Smash series is exquisite. And then I will forever and always recommend Elsie Winter's The Boundland series.
Hmm.
It is the only book series that gets my if you like Cambric Creek, you will like these books approval. Like
Okay.
it's the only series that gets like that seal of approval from me.
Yeah.
It's full of different, very similar to Cambric Creek. It's full of like different monsters.
Yeah.
There's a Mothman.
Fabulous.
There's an orc. Yeah,
You
it's
know
just
how to reel me in
so good. Yeah, no,
with the
absolutely.
Mothman.
It's so good. Like her dialogue, her banter is just it sparkles.
Hmm.
Like it's steamy. It's not quite as steamy as my books, but
Yeah.
the steam that's there, it's steam. The steam steams.
Yeah. It's sizzling.
um and just her banter just it absolutely sparkles. It's so fun and funny, and I can't recommend it highly enough.
Amazing. Um, okay, so I have a few. I'll start at you're a historical girly. I'll start at a historical monster romance, and it's When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vita Kelly, who you
Oh,
may know more as V. Kelly art. She does a lot. She's like has
yeah,
made a lot
yeah,
of fan art for a lot of books, but she published this
yeah.
year, and it's like a 1910 circus merman MM
Oh,
romance. Like,
oh, love that.
yes, yes. So
Okay, wait, what's it called again?
When the Tides Held the Moon.
Okay.
And that came out this year. So like it's her like debut. And she's like, everyone knows me for art, but I was like a writer first.
I love that. Oh my goodness, the cover is gorgeous.
Yes. Yes. It's like, oh, yeah. And then for books that we have done on the podcast is The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by
Yeah,
Kimberly
oh,
Lemming.
of
Anything
course.
Kimberly Lemming. And then uh, also Sleep No More by R.M. Virtues, which is a sleep
Mhm.
paralysis demon book.
Yep.
Editing Allison here to say that apparently I am horrible titles even when I have them written down right in front of me, and I meant Sing Me to Sleep by R.M. Virtues here. If you want to listen to the episode where we do get the title right, that is linked in the description of this episode. Listener, if you haven't read that yet, I don't feel like I've been talking about it since the institution of this podcast. I don't know
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
you haven't read it yet. And then something that has been on my TBR, but I've been excited to read, but I haven't read it, is I Married a Lizard Man by Regina Abel.
Oh yeah, they're the Monster Prime series. Yeah,
Yes.
or the
Yes.
Prime mating
Yes.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Prime Mating
those
Agency. It's
are
like,
all
yeah.
excellent. Those are all fantastic.
Yes. It's like
Yes.
been on my, it's like I've had it like open on my phone, like the Amazon page, like just like waiting for when
Yeah.
I have time to like sit down and read a book and like enjoy something. But yeah.
Regine does such a good job with like introducing the cultures, like
Yeah.
introducing like just like what is kiss? Like just like that whole
I
you
love
know,
that. I love
yeah,
that microtrope and like monster romance where you're like, they're
yeah.
like, or like even Alien, like I think like Ruby Dixon did it too. Like, it's like
Yes.
kit, lips, mouth
Kiss.
touch. What does that
Right.
mean? Oh, I like
Right.
this.
And Regine does such a good job with that. And in every single book she does it, but she does it so differently
Yeah.
and so well.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Highly recommend Prime Mating. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I love finding an author who like does something that I really like and doesn't in
Yeah.
every book, but like manages to like not make it feel
Right.
boring after like 4 books, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. See, now you're speaking my language, like monster romance, like pre 2022. Oh yeah, there I got you there.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I have
Right.
that.
The other book I wanted to mention, and it's not monster and it's not historical, but it's Sarah MacLean's The Summer Storms.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
a contemporary, just came out this past summer. It
Yes.
is absolutely beautiful. Like
Big
the
fan of
prose
that.
is gorgeous. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, no, highly recommend. And that one's like Sarah herself has said that's not like quite a romance novel. I would say that it definitely it's like toes the line.
Yeah, it skirts the line of like upmarket, like
Yeah.
women like it skirts the line between women's fiction and well, what we call women's
Yeah.
fiction, which I think is just such a weird category, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, and romance, but it is absolutely beautiful. I thought it was
Yeah.
stunning. And I think it's her first contemporary. I want to say that's her first like foray out of
Yeah.
historicals.
Her first full length contemporary. She has like
Yeah.
a novella contemporary
Okay.
cause it's part of a Duke series. He's a Duke. Where it's based, I mean, he's a Duke, so it's still like kind of historical-esque
Yeah.
because he's a Duke, but it is modern day.
Yeah, and like all of your favorite Histrom authors are like spinning into contemporary because Trad Pub thinks
Yeah.
historical is dead. That's going to be a whole nother episode that we have to come back and talk about because I can get on that soapbox
No,
for a week.
I've yeah, no, I brought it up to like I had Alexandra Vosti on and she's writing. I feel like she's unfortunately one of like the few historical romance authors that are really still kind of thriving in trad
Yeah,
pub. But she's like, historical's not dead. She's like,
not dead.
so many people still like reading it.
Right, right. And like everything is cyclical, and I understand that about this industry, but it's just so dumb.
I'm just like
It's
waiting
just
for
so
it to come
dumb the way like
back.
they make these pronouncements and they expect it to be true. And I'm like, well,
No. I'm like you I just feel like yeah, it's such a miss. I mean, I've said it again. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but like I feel like with the rise of romantasy and like dark romance, like historical is a great like to
yes.
funnel
Like
readers that like
right.
those two subgenres are gonna like historical. And you I just feel like I don't understand why trad pub has like not figured out how to like market that, like why they're not doing that, why they're trying to like market historicals like contemporaries. I'm like, no, that's not. You're in the wrong neighborhood.
Like with romantasy being like the only thing that trad pub seems interested in buying right now, like if you are a romantasy reader but you don't really love like the higher magic world
Yeah,
building, you will love historical romance. You
right.
will absolutely love everything about it. And I don't understand how trad pub has not figured out how to capitalize on Bridgerton. Like, it seems to me like that was a gift wrapped opportunity that
Yeah.
they fumbled it so hard.
That I will say, I mean, I think 90% is Trad Pub being stupid, but
Yeah.
10% for me, at least for Bridgerton, was because the show and the books are so different. And I love I love both. I love the Bridgerton books. Like The Viscount Who Loved Me was like what got me into like romance like in
So here's the
2020.
thing. No, I completely agree. Oh my God, we're gonna live this podcast is gonna be 6 hours at this rate. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But like,
Listeners are like, oh, she's talking about historical romance again.
sorry, I'm so sorry.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
all I ever
me.
talk about.
I'm saying like, oh, Allison's bringing up historical romance again.
Oh, like I said, you bring me back at another episode. We'll talk about this
Yeah.
for a whole solid week. But like, I completely understand, and I agree. Like the original books, they do not match with the inclusiveness of the
Yeah.
show. But that was a gift wrapped opportunity
Yeah.
for Trad Pub to say,
Right.
this show is hitting, this show is checking every box. This show is hitting every audience. Let's buy inclusive historical romance. Let's
Hmm.
buy historical romance with Black leads. Let's buy historical romance with something other than a cis white het couple. And they
Right.
were given that on a silver platter, and they
Right.
fumbled it so hard. It's embarrassing how hard they
They were
fumbled
like,
it.
instead, let's put like Ray J. John Page and the
On the
actress that played
cover of the
Daphne
book
on the
as
cover,
nothing but white
despite the fact
people.
that
Yeah,
he like in the prologue is described as being like a white man with blue eyes.
exactly.
Like, okay,
Exactly.
sure. That's
Exactly.
not
Right.
misleading. What are they gonna do?
Right.
I'm still curious about what they're gonna do with when he was wicked. Cause like that's two women. And like, how are you gonna are you gonna put the two women on the cover? Even though it's a
It's
man?
embarrassing. It's embarrassing to me how badly they fumbled that and how
Yeah.
completely they missed the mark. Like they really thought just putting the cast, like the diverse cast on the cover
Yeah.
of these non-diverse books. And again,
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on the books themselves.
No,
I'm just
right.
saying they don't match the show.
Yeah.
But that's an opportunity to buy books that
Right.
do. To buy
Right.
to buy books from non-white authors, to buy books
Yeah.
that do match the diversity that the show gives us, and they
Mhm.
fumbled it so hard. Okay, I promise I'll step off my
No,
soapbox now.
no, I get no. But like even just like tonally, like I feel like the show is like sexy and drama filled in the way Shondaland is, in the way that like the
Yeah,
books are rom-coms. Julia Quinn like
right,
writes
right,
really witty banter, and that's like not necessarily the show does not
right.
focus on that part of it. And so like yeah, I think readers go in, they're like, oh, I want an interracial couple and like, all of this.
Yeah.
And I want
I want it to be
drama and I
voicey, I
want
want it to be
heat.
sexy, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And like Julie Quinn is also not very high heat.
right.
Like, I don't think there's any cunnilingus in those books. At least not until later books in the series. Like, I'm confident the Viscount Who Loved Me doesn't have any cunnilingus. And like that's all we get in the movie. I mean in the
They
show.
could have in the show. They could have given us exactly what those viewers we could have turned those viewers into readers so easily.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
didn't. And it's just so disappointing that they didn't. And
Yeah.
then to turn around and say, oh, well, historical romance is dead is such a slap in the face to everyone who
Yeah.
loves the genre and to everyone who writes the genre, because
Yeah.
like you went out of your way to kill it. Like
Right.
that.
It's like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And then they got rid of mass market and
Right.
now all the trade paperbacks are like $25 and it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
and the ebooks are like $15 and you're like, okay, people can't afford.
Yeah. Yeah, trad pup is like that meme of like, you're shooting the guy in the face. And you're like, how could historical romance have done this? And
Yeah,
like,
how could
well,
Book
yeah,
Talk do this?
right. Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All right, get
Amazing.
off the soapbox.
What a fun segue that was.
Listen, listener, if you like monster romance, there's absolutely something in historical romance for you as well. So you can
Absolutely.
come right over.
I am going back to historicals in 2026.
Yeah.
I am going to be rebooting my Monsters Ball. Like I was the first book in the Monsters Ball series, and it was like this big, huge shared world with a bunch of other authors. But I want to get back to that world, but I kind of want to do it
Yeah.
like my way. So like I'm going
Yeah.
to be releasing like book 2 of my Monsters Ball in 2026. That'll probably be my first book of 2026, actually.
Ooh, I'm exciting. Okay. I was gonna ask you, I was like, what's next? But like you were like phenomenal monsters ball gowns.
Yes.
This is what the people
All we
want.
need. Right.
Yeah. All right, listener, look out for that. I have to ask, because it's in the title of the podcast, what was the last book that made you want to stay up all night reading?
It was These Summer Storms. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I started it at the airport and I got home that night and I'm like, and now I can't go to bed. Fuck.
Shit.
Yeah. Right.
Why did jet lag do this to me? Like as you're
Exactly.
holding your Kindle. Yeah. So where can they find you if they want to connect with you after this episode?
Oh, you can find me at my website because it has links to all my socials. So cmnescosta.com. I am most active. God, I'm not active anywhere anymore.
You're like, I'm about to lie through my teeth.
Yeah, I'm like I saw my I got my oh, check out your stats for Instagram last week. And I'm like, you posted 3 times. I'm like, oh God, that's embarrassing. um yeah, my website. Like subscribe to my newsletter on my website. We are about to do a second print run of Milked, which is the hardback special edition, super foily, shiny, sprayed edge version of Morning Glory Milking Farm and A Blue Ribbon Romance. It's the tandem read.
Yeah.
That was out of stock for a really long time. It's back in stock. And to make it easier on my poor lone employee, we're going to be doing a direct pre-order for the second print run, exactly the same way we did for the first print run that you all,
Okay.
it out almost immediately.
Yeah.
So if you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll be seeing that within the next couple days.
Awesome. All right, listener, that was lovely. Thanks so much for listening. It was so great talking with CM. And I hope that you read even more of her bonkers books than I'm sure you already have, like Morning Glory Milking Farm. You can follow the podcast at We Read It One Night on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can follow me, or I'm sorry, you can email me, we read it one night at gmail.com. Sign into my DMs for any authors or topics that you want the podcast to cover, any books that you want to hear us talk about. I am going to be bringing back more like individual book episodes in 2026. Support the podcast by buying me a coffee at the link in the description of this episode, or checking out our Etsy shop at Evelyn and Adelaide for some bookish and sapphic merch. Make sure you leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. Make sure you download the episode, and I'll see you next time. Godspeed, comrades.